Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Tech Roundup Podcast. I'm Trip Booker.
And I'm Delta Check-In. For new listeners, this podcast is brought to you by Northridge Partners, the tech investment bank with deep domain knowledge in software and AI, fintech, aerospace and defense tech, and, of course, in travel tech, which is the subject of today's pod.
Before we jump in, we should probably disclose to you that both Delta and I are AI bots, not real humans like our listeners. Our friends at Northridge Partners have designed us to talk about travel tech. We really sound the part, don't you think, Delta?
Yep, Trip, we sure do, brother. We are checking in today for the first time since our 2025 series, when we debated how agentic AI and platforms like TikTok are transforming the online travel planning and booking process. Today, we're podcasting on a quite different and less well understood field, the technology that runs airports. Trip, why don't you tell our listeners why this is relevant and worth a listen?
Well, Delta, the simple thesis is that at the same time as global passenger numbers are set to double by 2040, airports are literally running out of physical space. And while many airports look modern on the surface, they're often hamstrung by legacy systems and fragmented data behind the scenes, which means they can struggle to scale.
That's right, Trip. And McKinsey tell us that by modernising core tech, airports can lift their earnings and potentially defer large capital expenditure programmes. That's potentially a big economic unlock, and the best part is it doesn't require futuristic moonshots, just better use of existing and proven technology systems.
Exactly, and that's why we're entering a phase where, in our opinion, code beats concrete. Let's dive into some of the types of contemporary technology that can improve the customer travel experience, the efficiency of airlines, and the throughput and profitability of airports. There are a number of competitors and players in this space, but for this podcast, we've chosen 3 early-stage businesses: Elenium, Neokey, and OneReg.
Let's start with the bag drop, which is a major pain point for most of us. It's incredible that out of 4.5 billion suitcases moved annually, only about a small percentage go through an automated system.
That's right, Delta. Aaron Hornleman, the CEO of tech company Elenium, says the physical hardware is often already there, but the real barrier is airline software adoption.
Agreed, Trip. Elenium is doing something really clever by making its software hardware agnostic, so it can run on almost any kiosk or bag drop. That changes the game because it lets passengers use any available machine, regardless of which airline they're flying with.
And the economics are simple. Automating these steps can shave $1 to $2 off the cost per passenger for the airline. Fewer check-in staff, less cost, faster throughput.
Wow, when you're talking about millions of passengers, that adds up to a huge value shift.
They've already signed 22 airlines in just 18 months and claim to hold nearly 60% of the automated bag drop market in Australia. It's all part of an industry push to reach 80% self-service by 2030.
But what about identity and security, like proving you are who you say you are when you check in?
Well, IATA's 2025 survey shows that half of all passengers have used biometrics, and 74% are willing to share data to move faster. That's where Neokey comes in with its trusted traveler infrastructure. They're moving away from the old model where 1,500 different airports store your passport data, which honestly sounds like a hacker's dream.
Exactly. Neokey uses a decentralised solution where you keep your digital identity in your own wallet on your own device. Recently, they ran a trial at Hong Kong International Airport that reduced passenger touchpoints by about 40%. Imagine just walking through the airport and having your digital twin automatically manage visas and boarding passes for you.
It sounds like sci-fi, but it's actually happening right now. We're also seeing digital twins being used for the buildings themselves, like at Amsterdam's Schiphol Airport. They used a digital twin for their HVAC systems and cut 375 tons of carbon emissions in a single year.
That's certainly a win for sustainability, Trip. 86% of airports now say this is a high priority.
That's right, Delta. Schiphol are also using industrial analytics to spot baggage belt failures before they even happen. They say they have avoided multiple hours of outages during peak times by using predictive maintenance. And Heathrow has done something similar with 2,000 baggage assets in Terminal 3.
It's so much smarter to use sensors to identify a maintenance problem early than to deal with a terminal full of angry passengers and lost bags. But what about all the paperwork that goes on behind the scenes?
That's a real bottleneck, and a company called OneReg is tackling it head on.
They're replacing those endless PDF, Word and Excel paper trails with a searchable digital compliance system.
Their CEO, Clint Cardozo, says we're in a 40-year change cycle where automation isn't just optional anymore.
I love his management test. If an aviation CEO can't answer a compliance question in 30 minutes, they're carrying hidden risk.
That's a really sharp way to look at it. OneReg is already working with 80% of New Zealand's airports, quite a few in Australia, and the major airport in the UAE. It seems like organizational inertia is the only thing standing in the way of these technologies scaling up globally.
For investors, these companies like Elenium, NeoKey, and OneReg are super interesting because, unlike the travel tech companies that we think of in conventional terms, they sit nowhere near the top of the booking funnel. This means that they aren't affected at all by how AI and social platforms like TikTok are disrupting conventional marketing channels.
That's right. They benefit from the growth of the travel sector, but they come into play after a trip is booked, and they serve the needs of all customers on a particular route, airline or airport. Kind of infrastructure-like qualities with some growth. It's a great combination.
It really is. What's not to like about turning solutions for congestion and compliance into scalable revenues?
Well, that's all for our dive into the code that's replacing concrete at our airports.
And if you're listening, don't forget to subscribe to our monthly newsletter, Tech Roundup. It's read by thousands of tech founders, CEOs, board members, and investors globally. See you in the next episode.
And remember, we fake humans rock.